My name is Jazio Sovinus, and I will be speaking on how advertising to teens is becoming detrimental to their lifestyle and health. Teens have many different aspects of entertainment. They are self-centered with their thinking, and they purchase anything that they want with the limited amount of money that they have to spend. They have no commitments, no bills, and they want everything to be cool. Teens are looking for a purpose in life because high school is the most important part of their lives in their own mind. The real world means nothing more than a show on MTV. I was a teen once and I knew it all. No one person, not even my parents, could tell me right from wrong. What I thought was cool, everyone thought was cool in their own mind. A teen, like myself, is the most selfish individual on the planet. Thus, they are very susceptible to anything that they find interesting, and that gives them a chance to express themselves. Teens are morally unstable, making them easily influenced by trends that are popular. Children and teens are often targeted by advertisers that are increasingly causing prevalently negative consequences in their lives. Media uses advertisements, television programming, and perverse philosophy to target our teens in everyday life, thus making our children constantly bombarded by ads trying to make their childhood from them and by making them adults at early ages. First, I would like to show you what the actual ways in which media targets your teens, making them very vulnerable. On the television show Frontline, which aired on February 27, 2001, the American people found out that MTV spends multitudes of money to reach out to our children. MTV in 2001 paid a few hundred teens $50 apiece to come listen to various popular hip-hop artists. They were having a great time, it looked like. This party was sponsored by Sprite to launch Sprite.com. The performers got free publicity, and Sprite got free publicity for their product. The party aired on MTV during their spring break special, with no one realizing that it was actually an advertisement for Sprite. This advertisement had two negative impacts on teens. The first is that Sprite is presenting the deception that this type of party atmosphere is fun, but in all actuality, these teens are getting paid for this. The second was the fact that Sprite was specifically targeting teens without them knowing by putting their favorite hip-hop artists on TV under the Sprite logo. Sprite is not the healthiest of choices of beverages, and they portray young Americans for this very reason, drinking it, so that it is all twisted, and advertisements in the culture that we are portraying are bad. Advertisements usually start targeting teens before they are teens, when they're children. In his April 26 article in WebMD, DJ DeNoon says, TV ads on children's programming tend to sell high-calorie junk food. Ads all over the television are constantly looked at by young people. Teens and children who watch more than 2 hours of television per day are twice as likely to have sex or to become obese. Advertisements can also cause violent behavior in children. Children seeing video games on our network, on networks like MTV, Comedy Central, and Nickelodeon, all are Viacom companies. Every day, the more time kids spend watching TV, violent TV programs, the less time they spend with their friends. This isn't true for non-violent programs. This type of isolation is seemingly triggered by violent shows and violent advertisements on these types of shows. Isolation makes children's social life obsolete, making TV detrimental. Advertising is how networks make their money, and teens have money to spend. Big networks want to produce things that teens will spend their money on so they make more money. Teens are seen as exploitable targets in a consumer-based economy. I want to show you how to change this in the future. Philosophies of advertisers and big-name networks are simple. They are entirely focused on the will and desire to make the most money possible. Executives for MTV and Comedy Central networks get all their power from the mother company, Viacom. Viacom tells the smaller networks what to play on TV and who they need to target. According to Frontline, companies around the world are trying to take teens' money away from them. Viacom and Internet Resources have teens' full attention when it comes to their media choices. In my opinion, money is the backbone of all business. Money goes before morals, beliefs, and sometimes even ethics. Viacom and other major companies create mountains of debt so that they can cater to the average American teen. According to ABC News, teens spent $170 billion last year, making teen advertising one of the most profitable investments for a company to make. Teen spending is so profitable for companies that they will try anything to get teens to buy their product and watch their programming. This constant bombardment of media is causing children to search for programming and lifestyles that are fewer medium-based and more child-friendly. We have now seen what the motives are of the big companies in broadcasting. Now, let us look at the programs that actually make TV watchable. Shows on major children and teen networks are far from suitable. They show a life where people live lives that are surreal and idolized, which is far from the truth. MTV just finished airing a show that caught my attention, Jersey Shore. This show had people with thick New Jersey accents. They would party every night, go to the club, and fight with each other. There were 4 guys and 4 girls all placed in a house, and they had no rules to follow. This show was the talk of the town on internet sites such as Facebook and MySpace. I personally was appalled at this theatrical attempt at TV programming. This show would be the last thing I would ever want my future kids to watch. MTV is cluttered with shows like Jersey Shore. Every show that MTV or Nickelodeon puts on usually shows that Viacom calls a moof. This character is a person of a certain type of human being. It's an American male who is loud and obnoxious and is called the life of the party. Shows from South Park to Drake and Josh all show ridiculous humor and outrageous, inappropriate behaviors that are overall detrimental to our children in this day and age. Inappropriate programming is inevitable on television, making it imperative that children be monitored by a superior. Last, I would like to end this talk with the point that programming on television is dangerous. Children need to be coached into thinking, not into getting babysat by the television. Overall, media does not target the most impressionable of all demographics, children and teens. Viacom and similar companies use all their weapons in their arsenal to target teens, which makes children isolate from social activities, succumb to violence, and cause them to have premarital sex. Overall, we have to look at the fact of the matter. Advertisers are obviously making money on our teens in our society. If we need proof that advertising is detrimental to our kids, all we have to do is look at the products they are buying. If kids are being influenced to buy unhealthy products for themselves, maybe violence or premarital sex is something they are also buying.